Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, especially the strong style, nerd strong style cinephile, Transformers, War for Cybertron, the Netflix animated show. It is here, and it is amazing. Let's geek about that for a scant few minutes, because, I mean, you shouldn't be watching me talking about it. You need to go watch it for yourself, because it's just that good. It clocks in about 3 hours, like 6 episodes, or not like 24, 25, 26 minutes a piece. So it's easy to breeze through the episodes, and you should, because it's good. It tells the story of the war between the Autobots and Decepticons, and naturally in the waning days of their days on Cybertron. Autobots are the clear underdogs in this. They are scrapping and desperate and scrapping for every ounce of energon that they can, just to be able to continue the fight. Next thing you know, this plot convenient device is discovered. I'm trying not to spoil it for you guys, because you need to go watch it. This plot convenient thing is discovered, and it can potentially be a game changer for the Autobots who want to get it for Megatron, and Megatron wants to use it to wipe out the Autobots. Basics, it's clear-cut basic stuff that we've seen before, but it was just handled with such care, such nuance, and it just wasn't. I mean, you had the Autobots and Decepticons, but in those two factions, you had Autobots who were just not all golly willikers, just gung-ho, whatever Prime tells us we'll do. They questioned Prime. Prime questioned himself. He had his other Autobots question him and his motives, and if what the path that he was on, that path that he set them on, was the right one. Yeah, the Decepticons and some of the rank and file among the Decepticons are not, like, they want the war to end, but some of the Decepticon tactics are not what they signed. They find out as things go on that they're not what they signed up for. So you have, Decepticons kind of, Transformers switching sides and just kind of wondering if they're on the right side, if their respective leader is doing the right thing to end the war, and then what does that look like when the war is ended? What does victory look like? It brings up all those questions, and I like that aspect of it, that not everybody on both sides gets along. There's layers to some of the characters and how they think and how they feel. They're just not cookie cutter characters, like cookie cutter G1 characters, which is nothing wrong with G1. I'm a G1 guy through and through. But they're not. This is a different kind of show for a different kind of, era of shows. So I understand why they do the things that they do. Kind of like, the IDW comics and some of the other Transformers comics that put more just layers and depth to all these characters that were just cookie cutter, one-note characters on the G1 cartoon. Another thing, voice work was kind of, again, I'm a G1 guy, so whenever I hear Optimus Prime and it's not Peter Cullen, I kind of bristle a little bit, but I can look past it. Some of the other voices are just not handled very well, not because I'm a G1 guy and I just want to hear G1 style voices. They just weren't good voices. They weren't executed very well by the voice actors, or maybe it was the voice director that didn't bring the right stuff out of them. Visually, I liked the look of it. It was dirty, it was kind of gritty. It just showed that these guys were at war for the longest time. They weren't, spit-shined, polished looking robots in their bodies. There were dings, there were dents, there were scars and scrapes and just battle damage that they just haven't been able to repair, as both sides been tearing into each other for millions of years. I like that aspect of it. I like the Autobots being just the true underdogs. And again, it goes back to this idea that there's just different views on the war and why it's going on. You have the Decepticons, who before they revolted were, just designed to work in the mines, or to work, in the pit, or be gladiators, stuff like that, where the Autobots were the more aristocratic. They were the higher class. Decepticons were the lower class, and that's just kind of how it was. So you have these Decepticons who, maybe rightfully so, have a bone to pick with just being looked down upon by the ruling class, which was the Autobots. They rise up, and the Autobots try to, stop them, but they're not warriors. They're just aristocrats, or maybe they're teachers or librarians, and so many other things before the war. Even one of the Autobots in there comments about who he was before the war. Now he's a soldier. So just those two, origins, those two starting points for the factions is always interesting when it's hit upon in a cartoon series. And it kind of makes things just a little less black and white than Decepticons are bad. Autobots are good. They're going to fight, and good is going to triumph over evil. It's all of good and evil. It's just a matter of perspective, and it's a matter of who you are and where you come from to you your idea of what is good, what is bad. So even though Megatron is just an evil megalomaniac, and he just going a bit over the top as far as like why he wants to stop, why he wants to wage war, why he wants to defeat Prime. In the root of it, it's not really the bad reason to kind of rise up and revolt. But like I said, it was 6 episodes. It was a breeze to go through. The action was great. It's always amazing and fun hearing that familiar transforming sound. Just not a bunch of random metal noise, but the actual transforming sound was great. It was some good action. Some robots died. Some surprising stuff happened. Some stuff you can kind of figure out happened based on, some of the action figures. You can kind of guess on some things that were going to happen. But all in all, it was just a great, fun series. I watched it twice. I'm probably going to watch it again because, like I said, you just sit down for like 3 hours and boom, a little less than 3 hours, and you're all the way through it. It's good. I can't wait for the next chapter in the series and kind of what they teased at the end of the series of this first, chapter. We know the toy line, the first releases for the toy line was Siege, and this was War for Cybertron Siege. The second release for the toy line was Earthrise, which would get more like kind of G1 looking, and I'm trying to find, I don't have any of like my Earthrise figures here. Actually, these guys are Earthrise. They're more the G1 looking, jets. Like these are Seekers. They're the G1 looking jets. They're not the Tetra jets or whatever. So is Chapter 2 of this series going to be Earthrise? It's going to take place on Earth. We're going to see the G1 stuff. Now we know the third part of the toy line is going to give us, it's called The Kingdom. It's going to give us some Beast Wars stuff. So is the third part of the Netflix series going to give us Optimus Primal and Maximals and Predacons of Beast Wars? Remains to be seen. I'm very curious. I loved the execution of this, of Siege. It is good. It's great. Not perfect, but it's really, really good. Give it like a solid 8 out of 10. And I'm anxious to see what comes next for these characters. And you should be too. You should, like I said, you should go see it. It's amazing. Go see it. Go watch it. Go watch it like right now. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media. This is more scattered than usual, I will admit. Till next time, let us geek.